Hi, my name is Darugo Sueño. I like coming up with game ideas, mainly for Pokemon thus far. So, let's talk about friendship in Pokemon. As it is today, after some quick research, it's actually more robust than I remember. Raised mainly through battle and using items, it was initially just an evolution mechanic. At best, you could use it to make Return, a move that positively scales up friendship, strong early on, but that's almost exclusively a TM move unless you have a Lopunny. However, starting in X and Y, having high friendship gave your Pokemon special benefits. This was as small as more XP per battle, to shaking off statuses for free and enduring KO hits with 1 HP as if they had Sturdy. Currently, it's a satisfying enough feedback for caring for your Pokemon, so what more is there to add? Well, I have two ideas. Bond moves and Shadow State. Bond moves are what I'm calling Mega Evolution and Z moves, with bits of the other mainline gimmicks sprinkled in. I want to dedicate a whole video just to this all-in-one gimmick mechanic, but I'll summarize the idea for now. High friendship will be required for Megas to reach their full potential and Z moves to reach their full power. As it stands, both are overpowered gimmicks, and having both is clunky, so it's no wonder Game Freak replaced them for a few gens. But I think if you package them together and require some build-up before use, this build-up scaling off of friendship, I think it can make for a nuanced and interesting revamp. Plus, it all falling under Bond move would help clarify that you can only use either once per battle. Like I said, there's more to my idea for Bond moves, such as giving Dynamax's turn limits to Megas, or secondary effects of Max moves to Z moves. But that's his own video. Continuing this video, I have my second idea. If Bond moves are the expression of peak friendship, then Shadow State would be the expression of negative friendship. Shadow Pokemon were the gimmick of Pokemon Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness for the gamed cubes. They are Pokemon that have had their hearts closed off, becoming unfeeling fighting machines that you spend the game stealing from bad trainers and purifying. But how and why would you want to do that to your Pokemon? Except for almost all legendaries, Pokemon are caught with a base friendship. For how you reach Shadow State, you would have to lower it beyond 0 by letting it faint or using certain items that taste bad. I think, as a side note, not using them for a long time should also lower it to a baseline. Not 0 by any means, but disuse should have an effect. As for why, well, ignoring how you would be kind of cruel to do so, it would give that Pokemon some bittersweet advantages. Their attack stats will be boosted further than their normal limits, and they would gain access to shadow moves, which are super effective against everything. But this comes at a cost. Attack and only attack stats grow, for as long as the Pokemon is shadow. Furthermore, they would have a decent chance of simply ignoring orders and not acting on their turn, or attacking an ally. These drawbacks are meant to dissuade its use really. So then, again, why? Well, for the world depth, of course. Can you imagine the villain team, or even your rival, using Shadow Pokemon just to try to beat you? You would have all the more reasons to defeat them, especially when you show how much more powerful Bond moves are. Now, I'd end the video here, but I want to talk a bit about how Bond moves and Shadow State would work with my active battle system idea from my previous video. If you're unaware, I'll give a little recap, but I would love if you pause this one and take the time to watch my previous video for the full context. But to put it simply, what if combat was freeform, moves were cooldowns instead of resources, you could block and dodge like in the anime, and your Pokemon's reaction time was tied to friendship? Bond moves will slot quite nicely into this system. Just treat them like an ultimate. The charge rate and power would scale off of friendship. Mid-battle, it would be charged by your moves connecting, enemy moves being dodged, and using items. As a bit of counterplay, it would be lowered by taking hits from moves, which can be lessened by blocking, but will worsen if your Pokemon is KO'd. Once you have it, you can spend it all to release an extremely busted Z move, or slowly burn the meter through Mega Evolving. Having the option to do either at any time without requiring a hold item would add a lot of depth as well. Again, its own video. Now, Shadow State would be interesting. And bittersweet like before. Can't have it be too appealing. Sweet in that, like before, Attack stats will be boosted and you'd gain access to shadow moves, but also cooldowns for damaging moves would be massively hastened. The bitter, however, is the interesting part. Stunted growth remains as before, and why not throw in worse cooldowns for status moves. But rather than have a chance of your Pokemon not listen, what if Shadow Pokemon were on autopilot for the whole battle? They would be hyper aggressive, ignore items you try to give them, and can't be called back once out. At best, it would buy you time to tend to your team not in battle right now, since you don't have to focus, but otherwise for all that power, they would be a liability. An impressive fight when against one, sure, but unoptimal for the player when bond moves exist. I don't know what it says about me to want to come up with a way to reintroduce Shadow Pokemon. I mean, I love my Pokemon, even as an adult, mainly because I only catch the ones I like and name them off for that express purpose. But I also love the idea of maintaining gimmicks, mechanics, and ideas Game Freak has abandoned over the years. Though, not like they oversee this vid. But you did. You actually sat there and watched me yap and draw on about friendship this and bond that, and I appreciate it a whole lot. So thank you for watching, and let me know if any of this was interesting. I'm trying to be more productive, so hopefully I can actually give you something more as thanks. Like, I already have another quick video on Pokemon planned for Eevee Day, and the aforementioned bond move breakdown. Perhaps also, I'll start talking a bit about a game that I can't seem to ever put down. It rhymes with Overwatch. Yep, get ready for some hot takes. Okay, thanks, see ya!